A lot of the stuff that I've been doing in the past, obviously going to assist Frank in formulating the roster, making sure we're cap compliant, and working with the league on that, negotiating the players' contracts, scouting domestically, internationally. Um, all the things that I've been doing in the past, few years, obviously with Columbus and all that. Then, if need be, I can always help Frank and the rest of the staff on the field when needed. But primarily, it's going to be the duties that I just described before, and that's making sure that we're buttoned down and we've got a direction and a way that we're going about our business in terms of contracts, player identification, and managing the cap.
How much responsibility for finding players falls on your shoulders now?
Well, I mean, I think everybody has a responsibility in that, Frank included, the assistant coaches included. They use their resources. I use my resources, and that's some overlap there in terms of agents and people that we use to help provide us information. Boots on the ground is always good in terms of having people at events. I'm one guy, can't be everywhere. We anticipate hiring a few others. Once we get some of the first team stuff shored up, we'll have some other guys I think that'll be on board in roles in the scouting area. But I'm certainly not adverse to getting on an airplane and going places and looking at players. However, we need to have a plan of action and just not randomly looking for guys. We need to have guys identified, then go see them rather than just randomly showing up and saying, hey, I like that guy. So, I'm not adverse to that, and it's in my nature to identify players. And again, it falls on Frank as well as the assistant coaches to bring players to the forefront. Yeah, I mean, it's always easier when you're, moving from one club to another within its own division because you do have a little bit more knowledge of those teams than you would if I had taken a job in Portland. So we do see them more often and prepare to play against those teams. Look, there's always a rivalry there between the clubs that's been in the past. The passion that I think the Fire players have always had, the ability to have good results at home have always stood out in the past for me, for Chicago. And look, keeping a core group of these guys here, whether it's on purpose or because of the cap situation or contract situation, I think is helpful. Because there's still identity left in the club. We didn't come in and gut the team and try to rebuild. A lot of these guys are coming back, so we still have good knowledge of what this team has in place. And with a few of the tweaks that we've made so far with some trades, this team can be very competitive. And I think if we can shore up the back line, I think you're going to see a team that can score some goals, attack, but also be a little bit more efficient in the back line. A little history on it. Obviously, DC was holding the first allocation, and they made that trade at the draft with Philly. Philly's now in line. They're pursuing Maurice Adu, and I think that's their priority. However, if they feel that maybe that's going to fall through, they may go after Marco and try to get him signed. And if they pass on him, Seattle's number 2 in line via trade with Chivas, I think for Mauro Rosales. So. We can't have any discussions based on league rule with the player or his agent in terms of the contractual numbers. So that's being done with the league. We've had some fruitful discussions with Seattle and Philly. But as Frank mentioned before, to get something of quality, you usually got to give up something of quality. I don't think we're at the point yet with either one of those discussions that we're in agreement on any of those formulas that might make it work. However, if something doesn't work with the signing of that player with one of those other clubs, we're more than prepared to make an offer. So it's just a matter of waiting our turn and maybe coming to an agreement with one of the teams that's before us in the allocation order.